Florida. Tom, you're up on the Savage Nation. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Savage, I'm down here, very close to Miami. It's a beautiful city, and it is close to the United States.
Yes.
Going back with a previous point you said about, liberal Jewish people, I'm down in a predominantly Jewish condominium, and they're older people. They really just don't know what Barack Obama...
No, they're lifetime Democrats. They have no idea. To them, a Republican is a Ku Klux Klan member.
Exactly. They really don't follow anything. But I did tell them a few times, listen, and I don't mean to insult you, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf. Obama wrote 2 books that you should just go into Barnes & Noble and just look at. I mean, he puts it out in his books that...
Why don't you just quote what Jesse Jackson just said about Israel and say that he's waiting for Obama to win so that Israel's no longer as strong as it is? Maybe that'll help them wake up to the danger they're in.
That will be the next point that I'll bring with them at the pool tomorrow. I have to actually get a copy.
How is it down there? Maybe after this is over, when I lose my job in talk radio, I should move down there under an alias.
You better come down as an alias, that's for sure. Down here, it's beautiful. Of course, it's beautiful.
No, I mean, do you enjoy it down there with all the libs? How do you live around liberals? How do you get along with them?
It's a constant argument with them. I find that the Cuban Americans understand this, who this man is. They see Obama.
Yes, because they've lived through Fidel Castro's tyranny. Of course, they know who he is.
They say the same thing. Castro ran on hope and change, and
that's right.
Look what they got. Now, what I find.
Boy, you're a conservative around liberals in a condo in Florida. Where, like South Beach area or North Beach?
I am just about 3 miles north of Miami. I'm in a place called Hollandale Beach.
Okay, very beautiful. Is that the area where those little old hotels were in, like Scarface, or is that South Beach?
That's a little bit further south to me. That's South Beach. But I'm by.
Well, like the islands in the bay there, in the Bay, Biscayne Bay. Is that near where you are, up around there? Those islands, like.
Yes, it is. That's exactly where I am. I'm
like if I went over the causeway from those nice islands where the cruise ships come in and the stars live and the celebrities, you're in about that part of Miami. It's very beautiful there. I've been there.
Yes, it's a very, very beautiful part.
All right, so let's say, aside from politics, basically liberals are nice people, right?
Yeah, aside, of course, they're nice in a way that, but they have a warped view of life. I mean, they have so much money, and yet they're looking for, maybe they feel guilty about it. I really can't understand, where they see that socialism would be such a better system. Meanwhile, capitalism gave them everything that they have.
Well, they feel that their benefits would go up under socialism. As oldsters who don't work anymore, they want as much as they can get from the government. So they like bigger Social Security checks, more Medicaid, more money to spend at casinos, more doctoring, more free medication. So from their point of view, they want a bigger, fatter government.
Well, a point that I bring up with them as well, I say, if you want to go to social medicine, you're going to have to wait in line for somebody,
Oh, no, not them. They have big mouths, your relatives, your neighbors there. They all have big mouths. They're sure they're going to get care right away. They ought to take a plane to Cuba to see the kind of medical care they're going to get.
You're absolutely right. I tell them, please, I said, if you're going to add 47 million more people onto the doctor rolls, how are you going to get in? And when you go to see the doctor, there are going to be people sitting next to you that want to steal that jewelry.
Well, and not only that, but let's talk about the kind of doctors that are going to be produced to treat all of these tens of millions of new patients. They'll grind out doctors who have the equivalent degree of a Havana Medical School degree. They'll be the equivalent to... let us say a lower bureaucrat in America, virtually no medical training to speak of. They'll be like medics who know how to put a stethoscope on the chest and give a prescription. In other words, they'll be like the average American doctor today.
Right, exactly. That would be, so I try to bring that up with them. I try to make them see.
See, the thing is, my mother said never talk about politics or religion, which is why I went into this business, because I realized if I did the opposite, I would get rich.
Yeah, your mom gave.
I'm joking. No, Tom. My mom lived up in a very inexpensive place in Boca. You say Boca, you think people are rich, but Boca is a very diverse community in terms of wealth, from the beach all the way inland. And she lived in a very humble apartment, and then she spent the last few years in a assisted living. And I saw the whole process, Tom. It's what waits for all of us. It's the way of all flesh.
For me,
But let me ask you, you're not originally from that area, huh?
No, sir. I'm originally from New York City. I was an ex-foreign exchange trader. I basically retired when the euro came about and destroyed my business. I used to work for an Italian bank, and I moved down here and started a small business out of my own home. And
isn't that amazing? Amazing. But you survived because you had the grit to survive and the brains. Look, they're nice people. Liberals are basically nice people as long as they get the grift. They get a lot of Medicare, Medicaid. They get free passes to the zoo. They're happy. As long as everything's given to them for free and they feel like they're in the Soviet Union, they feel happy.
I always fall back on, your truism that, it's just a mental disorder, and then I just dismiss it that way.
Yeah, treat them like a mentally ill relative, and then you can tolerate them. The next time Mrs. G next door starts to tell you about politics, think of her as a deranged relative who's not really that bad, who has a good heart.
Oh, my God. Now we have also down here a lot of people from, the ex-Soviet Union. That's what, prompted my call, is that when you were speaking, you brought up about the Soviet bloc. Now, the ex-Soviet people, they blame BO's, meteoric rise on our forced political correctness.
That's correct. We're already living in a Soviet-style government. People are afraid to speak up about B.O. That's why I'm being extra respectful today, and that's why I'm referring to him by the presidential initials. You understand that, Tom? In order to respect B.O., I'm putting him in the league of former presidents already. I mean, I don't want to offend them either by saying B.H.O. You understand that? Because then I'm using the word Hussein, and I know they don't want us to use that. So instead of using B.H.O. in reference to Obama, I have to use B.O. to be politically correct.
Well, the real acronym of his name is BHMO, from what I understand, because he has a Mohammed in there as well.
Well, but that throws it off. We don't want to complicate things, because then we're liable to call him HBO. All right, Tom, since you're such a good-natured caller, and you've had fun, and I've had fun, if you could name one story other than Love by the Sewer Plant that you want to read in my great new book, Psychological Nudity, you'll get a free copy. Go.
Only if you tell it, though, because I'm really depressed. I want to hear Dead Man's Pants.
Oh, my God. Are you actually depressed at the thought of B.O. winning?
Yes, I am. I'm so afraid. My wife is from Italy. I applied for my two daughters' Italian citizenships last month.
This is an interesting... I'm going to take a minute on this. I met people last week who lived in America all their life, and they have grandchildren here. You know what she said to me? She said, we're from Norway, and we've looked into becoming Norwegian citizens because of the coming communism to America. I am telling you that millions of people are afraid of what could happen to this country under B.O.
I lose sleep over it. I can't sleep at night when I think of the things that the man says, his past, all his radical associations, and how everybody is just marching happily to the change and hope drumbeat. And I just look at my children. One is 7 and one is 10, and I say, my God, I'm going to go back to my roots, which are Italian, and if I have to, I will go live in Italy. And I think that I'll be safer there. I just feel...
You would be, because the communists have been in place in Italy since World War II. And they've already learned how to live with each other. They're not that extremist a party anymore. The Red Brigades are long gone. We have not yet lived through the equivalent of the Red Brigades, other than you might say the Weather Underground and Bill Ayers, which means that Obama's friends will have immense power if he wins. In other words, the equivalent of the kidnappings and the truncheons, the suitcase murders, will start to happen in this country, in my opinion. We're going to have the equivalent of the Red Brigades unleashed if B.O. wins.
It's not only that, I don't know if you're aware of it. He hired one of Kerr's attorneys to defend him. I can get the name of the gentleman, but
yes, Kerr is a wonderful group. They're an unindicted co-conspirator in a federal anti-terrorism trial. They are a terrific group of Americans, real loyal to this country.
Yeah, he hired a gentleman by the name of Joe Sandler from Sandler, Rife and Young.
Oh, yes. No, I'm very familiar with the Kerr attorneys. They're wonderful men, real loyal Americans. They're all very loyal Americans. Right now, they're suing me for approximately $180,000 in legal fees for the recent case that I had against them.
I know. I remember. I just wish
The actual legal fees incurred, I happen to know what they are because I had an attorney on the other side, are about $30,000. But they're shopping it to Susan Ilston, the San Francisco judge appointed by Clinton. And in their brief, you're not going to believe it, I actually should have published this, they actually say that she, meaning they, the judge and them, are on the same side. They support Obama, and they should get Savage. They actually say that in their brief, in more words than one.